Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo-Hio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Swinging a liner to left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months, 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay. So glad you're with us. Obviously brought to you, as always, by the great people at Ohio Health. And good to be back in the booth, Kenneth. We last week had the plan to kind of hold off and bring 3 games on Saturday, and Mother Nature had other ideas. So just anxious to be back tonight. Whiteoak and Symmes Valley making the trips here to the beautiful VA Memorial Stadium for the non-conference. Kenneth, how you been?
Oh, I've been great. How have you been?
Good, good. Just anxious to get back at it. I know we have one tonight, a couple more on Friday. We'll get to that a little bit later, but I think we got a good one here tonight. If you look at it on paper, 2 teams that pushed themselves in the non-conference, maybe that shows up a little bit more in the loss column. But when you look at Whiteoak, 7-1 there in their half of the shack, and then Symmes Valley, of course, likewise at 5-1 in the SOC2. Both of these teams, when they put their best foot forward on the mound and in their lineups, obviously been very successful.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about Whiteoak specifically, a young team, they have no seniors on their roster this season, and for a team like that, even though, you know, as you said, they're sitting 8-7 overall, they're 7-1 in their conference in the shack league, that is, and that's pretty impressive with head coach Chris Veit recently picking up his 500th career win.
Yeah, obviously an incredible milestone. John Bruce and I had a chance to talk about that here this week on SOSA Overtime, presented by Perfection One. You can see that right here on the SOSA YouTube page, and we talk specifically about that incredible milestone, what Coach Veit's meant to high school baseball through the Southeast, not just down in Mauricstown. So about ready to get underway. On the mound here this evening for Whiteoak, Carson Airy will get the ball from Coach Veit. His first offering misses down and away. As you can see there, Airy throws it from the left side, making his 5th appearance on the year. He's had a pretty good year to this point. Getting started for Symmes Valley there in the leadoff spot. They're extremely talented catcher, both offense and defense. Andy Stroud having an outstanding season. 1-1 offering, catches that top corner of the strike zone with the off speed. Airy works ahead 1-2. Beautiful night here at VA Memorial Stadium. 76 is our game time temperature as the ball gets in on the hands, swings through it. Nice job there by Christian Height behind the plate, hanging on to complete the strikeout. Mentioned 76. Wind picking up every now and then out toward right center field as you see the flag blowing out a little bit. Big ballpark if you're not familiar with this. There's a lot of outfield ground to cover here. A lot of pressure on those 3 guys, Kenneth, out there and all that green.
Yeah, really a stadium where if it gets behind you and, as you said, not usually used to this big of a stadium, it can really lead to some extra base hits and some really big plays.
Tanner Thompson hitting out of the 2-hole here for Symmes Valley, behind in the count 0-2. Airy been utilizing some off speed here on the left on left. That one gets away from him a little bit up. Stroud on the strikeout was the first out of the inning. Now Thompson, Corn on deck. These top three for Symmes Valley have really carried the offensive load for him. Fastball misses just off the plate, even the count up 2-2. Coach Eric Holland, Symmes Valley head coach, does an outstanding job. Always one of the really good small school programs in our area. Runs the count full here, 3-2. So again, Stroud, Thompson, and Corn, and then it'll go Brammer, Campbell, Freeman, Hutchison, and Holland. That's how Coach Holland will run them out here, 1 through 9. Good at bat as Thompson battles back and gets the base on ball. Our first base runner of this evening, going to put the lefty Airy in the stretch for the first time. Tanner Corn, the shortstop, batting in the 3-hole, up over 500 himself, having a terrific season. It's a good lefty move. That's always interesting here with the 2-man umpiring crew. Kenneth, you can really get away with some good balk moves. Most of the time the umpires will tell you as a coach, hey, coach, I can't see it. Well, I mean, so what are you telling me? You know, so it's one of those where you'll see a lefty at the high school level really try to master that. Now they get to the tournament play. Oh, you add that third or fourth person out there, and you can't quite get away with that as much. Good slide step there to negate the running game a little bit. Catches the outside corner for a strike. Talk about the running game so much being base runner versus catcher, but in all reality, the pitcher is such a major factor in terms of the ability to hold the runner. That time goes a little bit of a higher knee. First baseman Jude Michael holding on for Whiteoak there. Michael, Flater, Pollard, and Michael is how they work around the outfield. First to third, that ball's hit really well out toward left center field. I think that's going to beat everyone. That ball's all the way into the gap. Coming around, the speedy Thompson's going to score easily. Corn never breaks stride, going all the way to third. Throw comes into third, and that's a stand-up RBI triple.
You know, how else would you really want to start the game if you're Symmes Valley? Just always getting that lead ahead, especially early here, helps out.
You talked about the big space in the outfield out there. That ball was hit really well by Corn, and the speed of Thompson after working the one-out walk, and now Symmes Valley a chance to add on a second run. Still hitting in the 4-hole, Carson Brammer, the first baseman. Looks like this early, Whiteoak will still play the infield fairly back. Curveball catches the top of the zone. Quickly ahead 0-2. If you're on the Whiteoak side, certainly could use the strikeout here. If you're Symmes Valley, you're trying to put anything in play and see if Corn can't break with that speed. Inside pitch catches the inside corner in the backwards K. So big strikeout for Airy. A chance to work out of this, only giving up the 1 run if he can retire Mason Campbell. First pitch, swing and a miss. Campbell, the third baseman for the Vikings. Now Whiteoak won't nearly be as concerned with the runner. Play will obviously be across the diamond at first. There's another swing and a miss, and now all of a sudden Airy a pitch away from getting out of it. So Hyde hangs the sign. Now Airy will deliver. That ball's fouled straight back right at us over the top there. So Campbell able to survive the 2-strike pitch, and we'll get another. There it comes set. Lost that one up and away a little bit. Evens the count 2-2. Mentioned the infield for the Wildcats. Gabe Michaels, your left fielder. Caden Butler in center. Isaiah Clifton right.
Want to apologize for any technical difficulties we're dealing with here early on.
There's a ground ball to shortstop, played there by Pollard. Throws across to Michael, and pretty good damage control there for Airy as he pitches around a little bit of trouble, but nonetheless, Symmes Valley plates a run. They lead at 1-0 as the Wildcats come to bat. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news, Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
Welcome back, VA Memorial Stadium. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health. Symmes Valley gets a first inning run on a one-out walk of Tanner Thompson, and then a big triple all the way to the left center field gap from Tanner Korn for the RBI. And now Tanner Thompson will take to the mound, coming up on just about 9 innings pitched over the course of the year, and is taking the ball in a lot of these non-conference games for the Vikings. And Coach Veit will send Abraham Flater, Isaiah Clifton, and Lucas Pollard. And if you're rooting for the Wildcats, you hope a lot more here in the home half of the first inning. Rounding out that lineup for Coach Veit in the 4 holes, Jonah Michael. The catcher, Christian Height, will bat 5th. On the mound pitching is Carson Airy in the 6 hole. The 7 hole is where Coach Veit will use the DH. Jacob Kiley for Jude Michael. And then in the 8 hole, Gabe Michael, the left fielder, and batting 9th, Caden Butler, the center fielder. So here's Abraham Flater comes in hitting .324 on the year. A nice spark plug at the top for the Wildcats. First pitch is inside. Thompson, the right-hander, has a live arm. Throughout the year, just working to get the consistency of the command. Later shows bunt there, pulls back, called strike, evens the count 1-1. Corners in at first and third, just in case he squares one more time. Appears to be swinging away there as Thompson misses. Low and away. The scoreboard didn't agree with the first call. I have 2-1. Is that what you have?
I also have 2-1.
Okay.
I think our cameraman might be asleep at the scoreboard right now.
Thompson with a long look in. Now comes with it. Falls behind, and that's what we talked about here. A lot of the patience from Whiteoak at the plate, forcing you to throw strikes. That pitch misses down. Now we have the 3-1 count, evidently. So Thompson misses down again. So struggling a little bit to just find that release point there to get started. Abraham Flater with the leadoff walk brings Isaiah Cliff.
And one thing with Whiteoak, their top 3 hitters, 18, 15, and 13 steals, respectively. And when you get those guys on base, it's pretty dangerous for both the pitcher and the catcher.
Well, and we'll see it right away here in terms of the battery of Thompson and Stroud. Andy Stroud, very talented catcher back there. Up in a good stance with someone on base. ready to turn it loose. Nothing going there, but right now, first things first, Thompson's just got to be able to get settled in here and find the strike zone. Again, if you haven't watched Thompson throw, certainly a live arm, has good velocity from the right side here. Runner going on the pitch, throw down, not a bad throw, but again, pretty good jump there from Flater. And Kenneth, just as you said, Whiteoak been known to push the running game, and that's what they do here. Stolen base puts Flater out in the scoring position for Cliff. Cliff, the number 1 pitcher here on this Whiteoak pitching staff, that very talented lefty. You feel like he's been in the Whiteoak program for about 5 years now, but he's still just a junior. Tried to bunt there, pushed it towards third. Not a bad idea, because what happens is, worst case scenario, you make that third baseman field it. It serves as a sacrifice, but I got to feel like just as much there, he felt like he might be able to do it for a hit. Now with 2 strikes, probably not. See if he can pull the ball and get his leadoff guy over. Good fastball up top by Thompson. Gets a big strikeout on the swing and miss. And big strikeout there for Thompson is you want to keep Flater from moving over to third base with less than 2 outs. So far, so good in terms of accomplishing that goal. And then the 1-out batter will be shortstop Lucas Pollard. Pollard, one of the real young, talented players in our coverage area. Good player with a bright future. First pitch swinging, fouls it out over top the first base dugout. And Kenneth, you mentioned those steal numbers. A lot of times you start racking up those totals, there's a good chance you swipe third a little bit too. That's something Symmes Valley's going to have to be aware of here with the speedy Flater taking a pretty big lead. There he goes right on cue, and that was completely on the pitcher there. Catcher never had a chance. Outstanding base running there. Good secondary, read it all the way. Now he gets himself over there with 1 out, and it makes the job of Pollard a little bit easier in terms of trying to get him in. What was the number you'd given on that young man on the stolen bases there, Flater?
Flater has 18 stolen bases on the year.
That's a weapon. I mean, that's a big factor, and we see it here. Taking 2 bags in the first inning. Thompson misses up, and now he's in one of those situations again where he could certainly use the strikeout. If you're Pollard, you look out there, infield pretty much back. With the speed of Flater, I think any ground ball not to the pitcher would probably get the job done. There's a swing and a miss, and going to throw, and then the because it got away, it caused the throw, and just like that, the speed of Flater impacts the game one more time. So on the strikeout, ball drops just enough. Outstanding baseball IQ from Pollard to get out of the box quick and hustle. I mean, Kenneth, how many times you see it? The young kid sits there and pouts and gets tagged out. That run doesn't score. Kid playing the game the right way helps his team here.
Yeah, it's just effort and IQ in both those plays, whether it be from the batter or Flater on third. You just see the teamwork and the cohesiveness there to see the situation and score off that.
Outstanding baseball. So base is empty now with the 2 outs, and Thompson will go back to the windup, and the 2-out batter is the cleanup hitter for Coach Veit, Jonah Michael, the third baseman. Thompson with a long look again, now ready to go. Good fastball there, fouled back, evens count 1-1. Again, early on, kind of some of the stuff I had read on Thompson, I see it in person. This is the first time I've seen him in person. Certainly has a nice live arm. When he's in the zone, he has good stuff. You know, someone with a good live arm, sometimes it's the secondary pitches that come a little later, and that'll be the next step for this young man as he starts to develop the off-speed stuff to go with the good fastball. That's probably been his most successful pitch to this point, is where he's elevated the fastball, and it's been tough for the Whiteoak hitters to get on top of it. 2-2, 2 outs, bases empty. a run in. We're tied 1-1. Here's the pitch. Stays alive with the foul ball down past Coach Veit. Coach Veit's done this long enough. He knows to not try to barehand that, although good hustle from Coach Veit there. Going to go on down and get it. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay, glad you're with us here. Again, we had so much time off because we had planned to bring you 3 outstanding games on Saturday, and then we got rained out. We kind of had to pivot and reset our schedule, but we're excited here to bring you 1 tonight and 2 more Friday. There's a ground ball, good piece of 2-strike hitting. Michael takes it the other way and finds that 5.5 hole and shoots it out through the turf in the left field, and Whiteoak still batting now with 2 outs as Michael's aboard. That'll bring up the catcher, Christian Height. Nice job with 2 strikes, not trying to do too much. The previous pitch fouled it off that way, just was able to stay alive that time. Ball catches just a little bit more of the outside corner, and Michael doesn't do too much with it, just shoots it to left field, and now he'll lead from the bag there. That pitch comes up and in, pops away. That ball is going to get far enough away from Stroud to allow Michael to advance. So just like that, Whiteoak right back in business. Just very similar to the way Symmes Valley, even after they scored their run, still had a guy at third, less than 2 outs, unable to get him in. Now let's see if Whiteoak can play a little add-on.
Yeah, runner in scoring position. Height has 9 RBIs this season, second on the team.
You mentioned the youth of Whiteoak, Kenneth. You know, you look tonight, they're playing their 16th game. You always feel like you start to get those 50, 55, 60 at-bats under your belt, and you just start to maybe relax a little bit more at the varsity level, especially if you're a first-year player. Long hole. Now they'll go a check back of the runner at second. Korn coming from short. Ben Hutchison from second, working in and out, and Tanner Thompson just trying to shorten that lead up. Obviously pretty much off on contact with 2 outs. I would say outfield's pretty medium depth in terms of this ballpark. Defensively for Symmes Valley out there in the outfield from left to right goes Noah Hutchison, Grady Holland, and Aiden Freeman. Now with first base open, not wanting much to do with Christian Height. You given that RBI stat makes me think that this young man would probably have the green light here if he likes it. Taking pretty much all the way there. Hard to tell sometimes. Pitch catches the outside corner. 3-1. Still a really good hitter's count. Even with 2 outs, Brammer in quite a bit there at first with the second baseman, Hutchison, holding on. Big gap over there on that right side. Once again, Thompson finds that outside corner. 3-2. Full count situation. Pretty big pitch here in the early going. So we're tied 1-1. Thompson comes set, checks back there at the runner. Now just misses off the inside corner, and that's going to be ball 4. So after it got to the 2-out, nobody on spot, looked like Thompson was going to be able to get out of it. Jonah Michael single to left. Christian Height walks, and now the pitcher, Carson Airy. And it's one of those first inning opportunities where we like to say the pitcher has a chance to help himself. Airy first pitch swinging, fouls that back, hitting from the left side here just as he throws it. And Brammer just inside the base runner, playing in front of the bag there, first base. Campbell pretty much the same over at third, so even with 2 outs, opens up those holes a little bit. Pitch to the outside. A lot of coaches, though, Kenneth, will tell you, they want to come in on that corner and they don't want to get beat by a cheapie. You know what I mean? If you swing it and square it up and hit it by him, so be it. But you don't want to get beat on the the little dribbler here. A lot of times at the VA on the turf, that ball get to you just a little bit better than on some of the grass fields. There's a pitch that catches the outside corner, and Thompson's ahead in the count 1-2. Strikeout pitch for the most part has been the fastball up. Let's see what Thompson and Stroud have in mind here as the Symmes Valley battery works through this important early situation. Checks second a couple times. Now comes to the plate, and he goes with the hard stuff up in on the hands, and he gets the big strikeout. So 3 strikeouts in the inning from Thompson, but not before the Wildcats tie us at 1. Stay with us. We'll be back for second inning action. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top-quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Due to some technical difficulties with the weather, we will be down the center field camera today, and we apologize for that, but we join you back in here top of the second as we have a 1-1 pretty good ball game so far. Isn't that right, Shane Combs?
Yeah, no question about it. Again, we apologize for that. It's just the way it goes sometimes with the situation here with the wind and some of these outdoor streaming things. We ran into it every now and then with football and did different things in the gym with volleyball, basketball, but nonetheless still got the ability to bring it to you, and we thought it would be a good one, and so far so good. Both teams in their chance in the first inning pick up a run. If you're just with us, Symmes Valley had a one-out walk for Tanner Thompson, and then a triple from Tanner Korn brought him all the way around to score. However, Korn was stranded there at third. They're only able to get one off of Carson Airy, the Whiteoak starter. Then as Tanner Thompson took the mound in the home half of the second, I thought the speed of Abraham Flater was big in that first inning. He draws the walk. He's still second. He still third. And then even on a one-out strikeout, heads up by Lucas Pollard to get out of the box quick and force the throw, bringing Flater home to tie the game at 1. So here we go off to the top of the second inning. It's going to be 6, 7, 8 in the batting order for Eric Holland's Vikings. And Aiden Freeman, the right fielder, will step in. He's quickly down 0-2, first with a take, then with a swing. Carson Airy, lefty for Whiteoak. I was saying back in the first inning, appearing for the 5th time. He's been very efficient to this point as he gets the strikeout there on the tag there, and just really overall the command's been pretty good to this point. With the strikeout, the one-out batter will be Noah Hutchison, the left fielder. See a little bit of that abbreviated wind-up there, and that one kind of gets away inside and hits Hutchison, and it's going to put Noah Hutchison down on first base, bring Ben Hutchison to the plate, and opportunity maybe for the bottom of the order here to spark the Vikings just a little bit.
You know, a lot of familiar last names in this matchup tonight. We got multiple Hutchisons, multiple Michaels on the other side, and, you know, just not too common to see that.
Get to the smaller schools, a lot of times you do see some of the smaller rosters. And you mentioned the no seniors for Whiteoak. That can happen, too, at the smaller schools. Sometimes you get certain classes come through. Some are just simply bigger enrollment, and it can kind of go in spurts. Nonetheless, these have been 2 programs that have been extremely solid in what used to be Division 4, now is going to kind of float between the Division 6, Division 7 with the new format. Check of the runner there, Noah Hutchinson leading off first base, 1 out.
Well, when you talk about the mix of the divisions and you see the conference record compared to the overall, and it's just these teams testing themselves with the higher division opponents, and that kind of makes them better around tournament time when it comes to being able to play these opponents their size.
Yeah, no question. A lot of times with the non-conference, if you are a team that consistently just this maybe smaller enrollment, you're just getting beat to death in your own conference, a lot of times as that ball's swung on in line drive into center field. So there's a 1-out hit, second hit of the evening for the Vikings, and they're right back in business now with both Hutchisons aboard, and the 1-out batter will be 9-hole Grady Holland, the center fielder. So what I was saying there, Kenneth, is if you're maybe toward the bottom of your conference, maybe in the non-conference, you go out and you try to maybe schedule just a little bit easier, maybe schools your like size. In this case, these two teams doing so well in their conference, a lot of times they're going to look to push themselves the other way in the non-conference, and I think that's kind of why you see the overall record as they were attempting to bunt the two runners over and offered at it for the strike. You start to get into the schedule where it goes the other way.
With only 1 out here, you can get Holland on base. You get back to your 1, 2, 3 hitters if you're Symmes Valley.
Pitched in for strike 2, and yeah, we talked about how Stroud, Thompson, and Korn have been called upon so much by Coach Holland offensively to really carry the load. Anything here from the bottom half is a nice lift, and there's a little jam job right back up in the air, and Airy will haul it in for the second out of the inning. So big out for the moment there for Whiteoak. Job not done yet. Now as Carson Airy is going to turn the order back over for Symmes Valley, and it's going to be Andy Stroud. Andy Stroud did strike out to start the ball game, but he's having a terrific year. His numbers hitting well up over 500.
562 on the season as of Monday.
What I see here in the first 2 at-bats, maybe just a little anxious. You know, Carson Airy, someone who kind of really mixes the off-speed there. Sometimes you can get a little anxious here. Let's see if Stroud can stay back and barrel one up. And they throw in on the back side of the run, or didn't realize maybe that the first baseman had stepped in, and a huge pickoff is going to take the bat out of Stroud's hand and ends the inning. So we strand 2. We stay tied at 1. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounds and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs, and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Welcome back to the VA Memorial Stadium here in Chillicothe, Ohio. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay on a beautiful Wednesday evening. Tied at 1 as we head off to the home half of the second inning. The Wildcats of Whiteoak will send up 7, 8, 9 in the form of DH Jacob Kiley, left fielder Gabe Michael, and center fielder Caden Butler. So Coach Vidal looked to the bottom third to try to jumpstart a rally here in the second inning, similar to the way Symmes Valley's the bottom of the order was able to do so, but a huge pickoff takes the bat out of the leadoff hitter Andy Stroud's hand. Basically, a lot of times on that trail side, they won't even hold the runner on. I think what happened there, first baseman Jude Michael just sneaks in there, and coming from the left side, Carson Aries looking right at it. He just lifts the knee there and puts a strike over there, and what a big play that was in terms of killing an RBI opportunity for Symmes Valley. Nonetheless, we're tied at 1, and Tanner Thompson continues on here for Symmes Valley. Thompson gets his sign from Stroud. Looks like we're ready to go here in the bottom of the second. Designated hitter Jacob Kiley hitting for Jude Michael, the first baseman, who was on the put-out part of that pickoff play on the big defensive side. Kiley thought about it there. Doesn't pull the trigger, and the ball catches the outside corner, strike 2. Now Thompson way ahead.
5 doubles, 7 RBIs on the year for Jacob Kiley. See if he can use that power here.
Just as we've seen Thompson do, he's tried to elevate the fastball a little bit. Kiley, one of the taller hitters. I don't know if Thompson quite got that ball up as high to the hands as he wanted to. There's his fouled back. That time he drops an outstanding breaking ball off and just misses, I'm going to say, above the strike zone and maybe even a little bit off the outside corner, but a really, really good 0-2 pitch there, one of his better breaking balls. There's a fastball and a good piece of hitting, stays with it, shoots it out in the right field. Aiden Freeman over to cut it off and gets it back in, but nice job, 2-strike hitting by Jacob Kiley. He's aboard. Now to bring up Gabe Michael. Symmes Valley calls out the bunt defense, and that's going to get Mason Campbell from third base coming well in at third base, expecting maybe a sacrifice. So a lot of times see if Gabe Michael, no sign of the bunt there, prepared to hit. Fastball on the inside half, turns the shoulder out of the way, ball 1. Brammer holding the runner there at first. There's a ground ball second base, a double play opportunity. They get the lead runner. Just a little bit of a bobble in the exchange there or to get started from Hutchison to Korn, with a good hustle of Michael to keep him out of the double play. But nonetheless, good job, Ben Hutchison and Tanner Korn in the middle, recording the out on the lead runner.
Good as a fielder's choice, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
Always good to keep the runner out of scoring position.
Yeah, no question. Just a 4-6 fielder's choice. We'll record that first out of the inning. Now, Caden Butler batting out of the 9-hole. See what Coach Veit has in mind here at the bottom of the order. Pretty good speed of Michael there at first. Thompson comes set. Now the pitch. Misses up and in. Now all kinds of opportunities for Whiteoak, way ahead in the count, 2-0.
If you're a Shack school, it probably feels like you've played against a Butler for the past, 20 years.
No question. There's a 2-0 swing. Swings through it, and Thompson trying to fight through early opportunity here in the second inning for Whiteoak with the top of the order on deck. You certainly want to get this second out here. Runners going on the pitch. Pretty good throw. Had trouble maybe getting it out of the glove on the ball that was low on the pitch, and a good jump from Michael, and that stolen base moves him up into scoring position. Pitch was called a strike, so 2-2.
It's Michael's 4th stolen base on the year.
Good 2-strike hitting. We watched it from Kiley to start the inning. Just the ability to stay alive, fight some pitches off.
Whiteoak was last out on Saturday in a 10-1 win over St. Joe's.
2-2 pitch, and again, just good two-strike approach, short to the ball, stays alive. Feel like it's too close to take. You just got to try to get that barrel to it, and nothing else. Caden Butler's making Thompson work just a little bit harder. Makes that pitch count go up. Thompson set one more time. Fastball up and away, lifted right up over top of second. Everybody converging on it, can't get it. That ball's going to fall in there. You had Hutchison going out from second. You had Korn going out from short, and just out of no man's land. Ball falls in. Michael had to wait just a little bit to see if someone was going to catch that, so he's only able to advance to third. But now with only one out, Michael at third, Butler at first. Abraham Flater, the leadoff hitter, back to the plate for the second time in as many innings. Runner takes off there. Thompson does step off, but in the first to third situation, nothing doing. So,
yeah, you don't want to throw back and give the runner at third a chance to come in and score. It's just giving up the base there.
Great opportunity for Whiteoak here. The speed of Flater. Think about it as an infielder. You got to be aware who's hitting. He hits the ground ball, and you start checking that runner too long, you'll never get him down that first baseline the way he runs.
Flater hitting .324, has 5 RBIs on the season.
There's a good pitch there. Maybe a little anxious for Flater. So now 2 strikes. You can hear the voice of Coach Veit down that line encouraging him. Just got to have a ball in play. Symmes Valley now going to bring the infield in, which is going to be a huge lead out at second for Butler. So, and Thompson, a little uncomfortable with that, steps off there. So, with that infield in, that's going to be something to pay attention to with that big lead. There's a ground ball down the third baseline, just foul. That's why if you're Gabe Michael, you want to make sure you're leading off in foul territory. I would say if you get hit, it's going to hurt. Might as well not be out and hurt. Player tried to run down to get a foul ball, and the umpire enforcing the rule of the helmet there. So coach going to go on down. So again, 1 out. Infield in, so again, the huge lead for Butler at second, which will make it really interesting on any ball put in play here. There's a ground ball to third. Glove just off the line there on the outside of the bag for a foul ball. So probably fortunate for Symmes Valley, if I'm being honest, because the speed of Flater, you're never going to throw across and get him, and then Butler's obviously on Michael's obviously on the contact play because of how much they're using Butler's lead out at second. So any ground ball, he's breaking automatically here. Another ground ball, another foul ball.
What a job at staying alive this at bat.
Really, it's kind of been a theme of the inning. I mean, 2 or 3 Wildcats just finding a way with 2 strikes to extend the at-bat. Thompson trying to come up with a strikeout here. The pitch, and outstanding pitch on the outside corner. Later swings through it, so for a moment, Tanner Thompson regains control of the inning somewhat. Still have the 2-on-2 out RBI opportunity as Isaiah Clift will step in.
9 RBIs for Clift on this year.
Clift was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. There's a strike on the outside corner. Now that the infield's back into normal depth, let's see if the middle infield works in and out there. Tries to negate some of the lead. Right now, Butler still with a pretty healthy lead out there. Where the catcher becomes really valuable on every pitch. All kinds of ground here if you're not familiar with the VA. all kinds of area back behind the catcher. Anything that gets away is a run for sure, and with the lead that Butler has, could be 2 runs. There's a swing and a miss. So now all of a sudden Thompson a strike away from getting out of this. One-two count, 2 outs. Michael leads from third, Butler from second. Thompson versus Clift. Big spot here in the early going. Pitch misses in up off the plate, evens at 2-2. I mean, really in this situation, still you do technically have first base open. You don't have to completely give in with what you have, but that pitch count starts to mount. You don't want to continue to extend innings. And I thought we had a balk for a second, but I think that he got stopped in a timeout situation. So they're coming out there, and it's one of the points of emphasis, Kenneth, here in the last couple of years at all levels of baseball in terms of making sure that everybody's ready. So they're going back. I assume that's all it was just a warning situation. Whatever the message was, it's been delivered now. 2-2 count, 2 outs, and we'll be ready to get back at it as Thompson comes set. Jam job, pop-up right over top of third. Shortstop Korn comes in and takes control, and an outstanding job by Tanner Thompson to pitch out of the jam and keep us tied at 1. We've played 2. Symmes Valley 1, Whiteoak 1. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Off to the third inning we go here at VA Memorial Stadium. Shane Combs and Kenneth Hay. So glad you're with us here on SOSA, and we appreciate the support of Ohio Health throughout our entire streaming season. So much volleyball, football, girls basketball, boys basketball, now on the baseball side. Coming up here soon here at the VA in a week or so, we're going to have an outstanding softball matchup. Anxious to bring that to everybody. So, again, excited as we get closer and closer to the spring preseason, and this press box will become a pretty common home for us here, and you'll want to make sure you're subscribed to SOSA so you're seeing each and every time we're ready to bring you some action on the diamond. As we head off to the third inning, we're tied 1-1 as Carson Airy continues to work on the mound for the Whiteoak squad, and Symmes Valley here in the top of the third will be back to the top of the order. Keep in mind, Andy Stroud was in the batter's box there when the second inning ended as we had a pickoff. They had 2 on, 2 out, and the pickoff there of the trail runner ended up being a really big play in that inning to take care of that rally. Stroud, Thompson, and Korn, the top third of the Vikings order. Stroud struck out back in the first, but as Kenneth was reading off some numbers there earlier, if you weren't with us, this young man's having quite the season. There's swing and a miss. Kenneth, you have those numbers there again for people that weren't with us. I just thought that'd be worth a mention again, the year this kid's having.
Yeah, 526 or 562, batting average. I almost shorted him a little bit, and that's just for your leadoff hitter. What else can you ask for?
Yeah, no question about it. Now, in this particular matchup tonight, I made the comment earlier, I think the off-speed stuff of Aries just had him off balance a little bit, maybe not picking up the ball quite as well there. There he gets a good barrel to it. That ball's lifted out into left center field, and Butler coming a long way couldn't get to it. That ball's going to fall, and that's going to be a leadoff double for Andy Strauss. So good job of going and getting it, getting the barrel to it. Like I said, Butler went a long, long way, and that's just out of his reach. And a two-bagger gets things started here in Symmes Valley's in business here in the top of the third.
Now with the runner in scoring position, the pitcher Thompson, chance to give himself some of his own run support in this tied ball game.
Yeah, no question. First pitch swinging, jam job out in the right field. Clift is there. Ball was a little too shallow for Stroud to be able to tag up, so Whiteoak wins that spot, getting the out recorded against the very talented Thompson. Now Tanner Korn, he's responsible pretty much for the Symmes Valley run. He had an RBI triple back there in the first inning. After Tanner Thompson had the one-out walk, the triple brought Thompson all the way around. So now this time it's Andy Stroud out there at second. Tanner Korn will look to do the same, but he's down a strike here after that first pitch finds the zone. Airy with a little bit of a longer look there. Misses on the off speed. You know, Airy has that little abbreviated wind up when he's in the wind up there, so the stretch doesn't seem to be as uncomfortable for him. In fact, like a lot of good lefties, he's probably a little bit more comfortable there and does a pretty good job with the run game for the most part. That time he's going to jump off the back of the mound and spin and take a check of Andy Stroud. Flater moving in from the second base spot. Stroud back standing up. Pitch misses down. Flater out there at second. Pollard at short. Young middle infield there for Coach Veit, doing a good job in and out there. You want to communicate. Make sure you don't get stuck in the wrong positioning when that ball starts toward the plate, especially with a good hitter up like this. There's a swing and a high fly ball out in the right field. Cliff's got a pretty good beat on it again. And again on the catch, he shows off that outstanding arm that's been on display on the mound plenty of times. And once again, Andy Stroud unable to move up. Back-to-back flyouts to right field. Now the two-out batter will be Carson Brammer.
Airy, just a freshman on the mound, 23 innings pitched coming into this game. .609 ERA.
First pitch swing mid. That ball gets away, and the catcher can't find it. They're going to turn from second. He's coming all the way in, and that right there, Kenneth, is what I would call a VA run. You know what I mean? It's a situation where Stroud gets the secondary lead. The ball bounces away from the catcher, and you see so many kids just jog it out thinking, well, I'll just get the 90 feet here, and I'll get to third base. That ball bounces away. The catcher, Height, unable to find it, and it just takes that split second. Stroud never breaks stride. Good job of communicating Coach Holland there, gets him all the way around, and what a big run.
Yeah, as you saw on the replay, I'd say behind the logo's an extra, like, almost 10 yards that most high school fields don't have.
Yeah, no question. Now they're coming together. I'm not 100% sure what they could even really be talking about here. It looked like wild pitch, pass ball type scenario where the ball bounced away, went to the back, so it's a live ball, and they're coming back. They're going to call him out. Well, that'll end the inning. I mean, Whiteoak's coming off. Let's stay here momentarily, just see if we can get clarification here. They're going to talk. There's going to be some sort of interference here in terms of when the catcher goes. So I'll tell you what, we'll step away for the inning break. When we come back, we'll try to clarify. But what was a 2-1 lead is going to be inning over. We stay tied at 1. We're going off to the home half of the third. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willie & Son Trucking, each week at SOSAOhio.com.
Welcome back, VA Memorial Stadium. What a turn of events that was, Kenneth. I mean, Symmes Valley thinks they take a 2-1 lead. Umpires come together, and all of a sudden you had an interference call, and situation is called out. I'll be honest. I didn't see it that way because I mean the ball was so far away that as the runner was coming in, didn't really have an effect on the play. But again, I'm assuming the only guy that could have been in the way was the batter in some way. Maybe didn't clear enough or what. But obviously, all the way up here at the high school level, we're not going to get a clarification. So I'm just guessing. But I'll be honest, I didn't see it. But nonetheless, what a break for Whiteoak. So instead of being down 2-1, you're not only still tied 1-1, you record the out and the inning's over. So that's what we'll go with because we don't get a vote. And as we go off to the home half of the third inning, still tied at 1-1. Whiteoak's going to bring up 3, 4, 5 in the form of Pollard, Michael, and Height.
Pollard, only a freshman. 12 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, hitting .231 on the year. Pretty dang good for a young player.
No question, and those numbers will do nothing but come up the more experienced he gets at just seeing the varsity fastball, and he'll obviously grow physically. I thought his baseball IQ was directly responsible for their run back in the first inning. He ended up striking out on a pitch and heads up to get out of the box and get down the line when they ended up drawing the throw from Stroud down to Brammer. That brought his teammate Flater home. So the communication there between Symmes Valley dugout and the umpire. Thought I heard them say something about calling pitches, and that's the timing of it all. Obviously, they just had other conversations that probably weren't the most agreeable discussions. Thompson quickly ahead 0-2 on Pollard. Good pitch. There's a good swing from Pollard. He lifts a deep fly ball out in the left center field. Nobody's going to get that. That's going to go all the way to the wall. This ballpark's going to be an easy three-bagger. Got to hit the cutter. You end up giving up 4. Throw comes all the way home. Just like that, Lucas Pollard, leadoff triple. And Kenneth, you were just talking about this young man, how he's going to continue to grow as a player. That kind of shows you a little bit of what's to come in the next 4 years here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, already his second triple of the season. We're about halfway through the spring season, I'd say.
So now Jonah Michael, the cleanup hitter, has Pollard just 90 feet away as Whiteoak will try to take the lead. Off speed misses up. Symmes Valley going to pull the infield all the way in. See if they can hold the runner there at third. The fastball catches the outside corner, so Thompson working from the stretch here to give his infield a chance. Try to hold that runner a little closer, not give him as much of a running start so that on a ground ball, your infield has a better chance of holding him there.
Yeah, no outs runner in scoring position on third. Michael with 9 RBIs. So he gets a swing and a miss, bringing the count to 1-2.
Kenneth, remember last at bat, he got down to the 2-strike, and he did a good job of fighting a pitch off the other way and eventually singled on a ground ball in the left field, so he's 1 for 1 on the evening. Their same idea, ground ball to short's going to hold the runner. Horn gives a check, throws across to Brammer, and nice job of the infield in executing there, keeping Pollard over at third. So now the one-out batter will be the catcher, Christian Height. He walked back in the first inning. Big swing and a miss. Now the tough decision for the offensive side of this is with one out, do you want to go a little bit more on a contact play on the ground ball, or are you still trying to read it because the infield remains in? There's a ground ball. Runner will break. First baseman in between a little bit and then doesn't get to the bag in time, but Carson Brammer applies the tag. Had to go arm side to field it. His first thought was to come home, then thought better of it with the speedy Pollard. So then by the time he went back to go to the bag, wasn't going to beat height to the bag, so he had to meet him up the line there a little bit and apply the tag. So that goes as 3 unassisted, but it does give him the RBI. So Whiteoak out in front 2-1 now. Nobody on, 2 outs. Pitcher Carson Airy steps in. He was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. Inside pitch. Couldn't hold up there. Umpire said he went. Takes something off there, but misses up with it. I've been fairly impressed with Thompson here in the early going. The fastball has been pretty good. The breaking pitch continues to find kind of find that release point a little bit. He's left it up just a little bit. I think the more he develops that pitch, gonna have a chance to do some good work there on the mound. Just misses on the outside. You have a grade there on Tanner Thompson on that roster? I didn't see if they had the ages on that. I was just curious with this young man. I've been impressed with his arm.
I do not.
3-2 count, 2 outs. There's the pitch, and again on the swing. So he's going to call the pitch strike 3. I could hear him up here. He said he did not swing, but he called the pitch strike 3, and that will end the inning. Whiteoak gets 1 thanks to the leadoff triple from Lucas Pollard. He comes home to score, and Whiteoak leads at 2-1 as we head off to the 4th inning. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Off to the 4th inning we go here at VA Memorial Stadium. Shane Combs alongside Kenneth Hay. As we said in the pregame, we thought we'd have a good one here for you this evening, and it's shaping up to be just that. Whiteoak was able to get 1 in the top half of the 1st inning, only to have Symmes Valley answer with a run of its own in the bottom half, and then both teams kind of lose opportunities to score in the second. It looked like Symmes Valley had taken a 2-1 lead in the top of the 3rd, and still a call or situation. I don't know that I have a real explanation for you other than there was a form of interference called, and the run was taken off the board. So you heading to the bottom of the 3rd inning, Lucas Pollard led off with a triple, and 1 out later, Christian Height did a good job of getting a ball in play and getting Pollard home on the ground out RBI, and that's where we stand 2-1. It's been a really good battle. The lefty Carson Airy on the Whiteoak side, the righty Tanner Thompson on the Symmes Valley side. Kenneth, I think to this point, both of those kids have been pretty good.
Yeah, I've been impressed by both pitchers so far, and especially Thompson, only 8.2 innings coming into this matchup, and Carson Airy, a freshman, 23 innings. And for both these guys to come out in a non-conference game and just deal how they have been so far, it's been pretty impressive.
It's going to be 4-5-6 for Symmes Valley here in the top of the 4th. First pitch swinging, sends a one-hopper out there to the second baseman, Flater. He fields it, throws over to Michael. One pitch, one out. Good start for Airy and the Wildcats. Now Mason Campbell out of the 5-hole. He's the third baseman. He grounded out to the shortstop Pollard to end the first inning. Symmes Valley trying to get a base runner here in the top of the fourth. Campbell swings through a breaking ball. Whiteoak plays him fairly straight away in the infield. Outfield slightly the pull there in center. There's a breaking ball. It gets away from him off the outside corner just a little bit. Tried that back door. Just didn't quite get on top of it. Another swing and a miss for Campbell as Airy gets ahead.
For Whiteoak, I was talking conveniently actually to Caden Butler's older brother Connor, and he was telling me this young team, although they had a not desirable start, have really been pulling it together and picking up that first non-con win the other day. If they can continue that, do you think that gets the monkey off the back and just lets this team start to get rolling a little bit heading into the postseason?
Well, it does, and look, that program's always been one of the biggest players inside the shack. As they get out in the non-conference, sometimes you have the younger team, and you're still developing some of the depth with the young pitching staff, and that just takes time. But as always, Coach Veit's teams are going to compete night in, night out, not do a lot to beat themselves, and they're only going to get better as the year goes on, so they become a really dangerous team to see in their bracket, especially when you consider an arm like Clift and some of these other young kids that are starting to develop. Speaking of Cliff, that ball's hit out to right field, got down in the sun and hits off the turf and gets by him a little bit. We'll see how they score that. It'll definitely be a single. I don't think it'd be a two-base error. It'd be a single in an error if that's the way they go. That ball was low, and once it got off the turf, I don't know that he ever had a real good look at it. That ball, because of how low it was off the bat, had to be pretty much right in the sun. As you can see, the sun's coming right up over top of it there, out toward that direction. Nonetheless, two-out hit. Freeman out there at second base. Noah Hutchinson's going to be your batter. Brammer started the inning with a ground ball to Flater at second. Campbell struck out. Now Freeman out there at second, hoping that his buddy Noah Hutchinson can drive him home, but Noah quickly behind him to count 0-2. Carson Airy will try to work out of the jam. There's off speed on the inside corner, and the umpire is going to say it catches the inside corner and ring him up, and that backwards K is going to end the inning. Nice job, Carson Airy, to pitch around the two-out double. And that keeps his Whiteoak Wildcats in the 2-1 advantage as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. You're watching high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Swing and a liner to left field. Paints will walk it off. That one base is loaded in two. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months, 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Whiteoak out in front of Symmes Valley 2-1. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change. It was Tanner Thompson before through the first three innings for Coach Holland and the Symmes Valley Vikings. Now it looks like we're going to have Carson Brammer coming in off of first base and going to the mound. So he'll take his warm-up tosses here. Kenneth, can you get a number there on the first base? When Brammer came off of first base, I was just going to try to realign it for the fans there. So we'll try to get that number for you to see how they moved there. It's going to be 7-8-9 for Coach Veit and his Wildcats. This is where we started the second inning back when Jacob Kiley, designated hitter, singled. So Jacob Kiley was on a 2-strike pitch, did a nice job backside hitting and served it out in to right field there.
Brammer only 4.2 innings pitched this season.
A lot of times you get that in the non-league. You might have some league games coming up and you get stretched out into your pitching staff just a little bit. Pitch misses just on the outside there.
11 Ks in those innings.
Pitch low and away, so Kiley ahead 2-0. The pitch that catches the inside corner for a strike. Job of Brammer here, try to come in and keep his team just in this one-run deficit. Get your offense back in that dugout. Chance to get even or go ahead. I believe that was called a strike there. So 2-2. No, that must have been the 3-1 count. The ball misses in there, and that will be a leadoff walk. So great opportunity here. Kiley did it with the hit to start the second inning. Now leads the fourth off with a base on balls, and Gabe Michael will be back in the box. Same situation earlier. He had a ground ball out to second base, forced Kiley off of the 4-6 put out, but then that kept Michael on base. He would later steal a bag. Pitch misses away here. Expect Whiteoak order down here at the bottom third to be extremely patient, trying to set the table there for the top of the order. Jam job back to the pitcher there. He's going to throw to second, get the lead runner. So that goes 1-6 on the put out as Tanner Korn was over there to cover. So nice job. Brammer not panicking. He bobbled that ball momentarily, understood, still had the time to deliver the throw out there to Korn to cut down the lead runner, and he's able to do so. So one out, we're back in that same spot. Gabe Michael will be leading off of first base there. He ended up stealing the bag earlier. Let's see if Coach Veit ignites the run game again as Caden Butler steps in. Butler singled back in the second inning. Remember, that was the ball that was hit high out over top of second base and ended up out in no man's land. Falling in for a hit. There goes Michael on the pitch. Throw down. Nice throw, nice tag. Made that a little closer than I thought it was originally going to be. Nonetheless, give Gabe Michael his second stolen base of the evening.
You mentioned earlier these non-league games giving guys opportunities and sort of getting stretched out in your pitching rotation. And although Brammer only has 4.1 innings, only a freshman, it's a really good opportunity here to see what the kid has. As his pitch misses low and out, brings the count to 2-1.
Yeah, no question. You make good points there. Again, that's how you stretch out some of the depth of your staff throughout the year and then obviously throughout his career. There's a pitch that catches the zone for a strike, so 2-2 count. 1 out in the inning. Michael leads from second. Shortstop Taylor Corn in there trying to hold him close. That ball's down. That's going to allow Michael to move up to third. So now situation changes a little bit as you get the speedy Michael over to third base with less than 2 outs. Caden Butler's going to be called upon to try to get this ball in play. See if Symmes Valley shortens the infield up a little bit. Nah, they're going to stay back. So a ground ball in the middle going to add a run here. That pitch outside's going to get away anyway, and they're going to come all the way home and score the run. So score Michael as the ball goes to the back. Give Butler the walk. He's on base out of the 9-hole for the second time this evening. And with 1 out, we'll go back to the top of the order for the third time already in this game. Abraham Flater. Anytime your leadoff guy's hitting for the third time in just the 4th inning, then you're at least threatening. Hasn't been that much run production, but certainly been threatening. First pitch, the speedy Butler takes off and goes. That ball gets away, and had a thought of turning and going to third, but Coach Veit putting that stop sign up, so him going on the pitch, I think he'd still score that there as the stolen base. And then,
yeah, I think Butler was going to go regardless, and I don't know if he really knew the ball got away because he kind of slowed up towards second. I don't know if he knew the ball was on the backstop.
Yeah, I agree. I think they were trying to get his attention. By the time they did, probably the smart move. I don't think people understand, even if you turn and go from there, how far that throw is clear from the backstop all the way to third base. I've seen that play really come into play here at the VA more than any other field. Got a mound visit there, just talking to the young right-hander, trying to get him in the spot that trying to get him to. Whiteoak leads at 3-1 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Caden Butler is your 1-out base runner out there at second base. Brammer versus Flater. There's a pitch, catches the inside corner for a strike. Outstanding speed here at the top of the order. Anytime Flater hits top half the baseball, he becomes a problem for defenses. There's a swing and a line shot in the left field. Ball comes up. The 1-hop there. Noah Hutchinson comes up. Throwing run's going to score easy, and that's an RBI base hit for Abraham Flater, and it makes it 4-1 Whiteoak.
Well, we went from Butler to put the ball in play. Maybe we could score a run to score 2 more with a runner on first, still only 1 out.
And then you were given some good numbers earlier. I would think it's a pretty safe bet that Flater's going to be off and moving here early in this count. There he goes now on the pitch. Throw down the 1-hop there. Not in time. So that's the 3rd stolen base in my notes here on the evening for Flater, and we're only in the 4th inning. Isaiah Cliff struck out in the 1st. Hit a fly ball over to shortstop in the 2nd. Showing bunt there in a 1-out spot.
Runner in scoring position for Whiteoak. As you mentioned earlier, when you have over 20 stolen bases on the season now, you're always threatening to steal third as well.
Yeah, no question. So the third baseman probably not going to want to break on the square. So if you're Clifton, you're going to bunt. There goes the runner there, and he had it pretty much stolen right from the get-go. So that's the 2nd time in 4 innings now that Flater ends up stealing second, only to steal third moments later, and right back there with 1 out. Infield's going to come back in, and now Isaiah Cliff in the 1-out spot going to try to get something on the ground. Even with the infield in, anything put in play here, the speed of Flater makes it a really tough tag play at the plate. Pitch gets away. There goes the backstop one more time, and Flater's going to come home and score. He scores for the second time this evening, and now that makes it 5-1. 3 runs in here in the 4th inning, still just 1 out. Clift, an outstanding pitcher we were talking about earlier. Kenneth, I know you had some stat sheets there a little bit. Share with our viewers the year this young man, Isaiah Clift's, having on the mound as he fouls one back.
Yeah, Cliff's 26 innings pitched, 0.00 ERA. Just 40 Ks on the season. Just like, I don't know what else you could say besides those numbers there.
Terrific talent. Has been a big game pitcher pretty much from day one for the program for Coach Veit. You know, you were saying the ERA there, that'll usually play. Yeah, so like that's the good baseball analysis here. Like if you don't give up any runs, you have a good chance of winning. As he strikes out, swing. Good pitch there from Brammer. Took something off there. Good battle back for the young right-hander. 2-out batter will be Lucas Pollard. Struck out back in the first, but it was actually the heads-up hustle that he got out of the box drawing the throw that allowed a Whiteoak to score their first inning run. As he swings and misses. And then he was directly involved in the scoring in the 3rd inning again when he ripped one into the left center field gap all the way to the wall. He'd end up over at 3rd with a triple, and 1 out later would score on a ground out by Christian Height. So Lucas Pollard, even in a strikeout and a big hit, involved in 2 runs.
Going back to Cliffs, it's always funny at the high school level because, you know, there's more prone to errors. It's funny to see a guy have a 0.00 ERA and have a loss on the season.
Yeah. Pitch misses away on the 0-2, trying to get Pollard to chase.
I think that happened to Skeens his rookie year. I believe he had a no-hitter actually and lost the game.
Again, even in those dominant performances, such a team game, and that's why offensively there's so many ways to compete against good pitchers, but you have to do the little things, try to get a ball in play. Just like what we talked about earlier, even in a strikeout, Pollard had the heads up to get out of the box before the tag could be applied. Well, you have the speedy Flater at 3rd, so when they end up throwing the ball down the first baseline, you get. So again, anything you can do to just play the game the right way, it ends up paying off. There's a great job on a comebacker. Brammer squares it up, and he throws over to record the 3rd out of the inning. Good inning for the Wildcats. They score 3 times. They stretch their lead to 5-1. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo-Hio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. 1 chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Symmes Valley base runner got to be alert. There's a good breaking pitch that had Thompson a little bit out of whack. And I always feel like sometimes early in the count you're better to swing and miss there. If you're fooled, you get cheated if you dribble that ball to the first baseman and you're out. 1-1 offering. Catches that outside corner now ahead of Thompson. So big spot here with a really talented Tanner Thompson in the box. Grady Holland leads from second. Andy Stroud from first. Pitch on the outer half. This double play opportunity into the middle. It's Flater to Pollard over to first base, and the pitcher's best friend gets Airy out of a serious jam with some of the best hitters for Symmes Valley up. And just like that, Whiteoak still leads at 5-1. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Off to the home half of the fifth inning here at VA Memorial Stadium in Chillicothe, Ohio. It's a beautiful Wednesday evening. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay, glad you're with us here on SOSA. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be back with 2 more games on Friday night. You can also look on the channel and see SOSA Overtime, as John and I just had an episode go out. Appreciate Perfection 1. Also, you can go back and listen to the Haynes Total Health Care Coaches Call-In show from this past weekend. Had a long list of coaches from all over several different conferences, baseball and softball. And, you know, Kenneth, as we head to the home half of the fifth, it's unique. Whiteoak leads at 5-1. They took advantage there in that last inning, scoring 3 times. But, you look back through the book, and, Symmes Valley had the bizarre run taken off the board in the third. There you have the right guy at the plate. He hit it hard, but hit it right out of middle infielder, and Flater Pollard to Michael, 4-6-3, wipes out an RBI opportunity. Game feels a lot closer than 5-1.
Yeah, really outside of that last inning, control kind of got away there late before they finished off the inning. And, besides some bizarre plays, it's been pretty even baseball all night.
Yeah, no question about it. And that's why, we picked this when we thought it'd be a good game. That ball's hit really well out to center, and that's going to beat the center fielder. This has 3 bagged for sure. This one might come all the way around. Let's see how the relay works out. Good hustle there by the center fielder to get it in, and be a triple opportunity for Jonah Michael. And out of the 4-hole, Michael running hard there for the 3-bagger. But that ball, he shows a little bit of that power going back, just a little bit backside as the lefty swing beats the center fielder. Christian Height finds himself in another RBI opportunity. That's a strike. He was able to get the job done back in the 3rd inning after Pollard had tripled. He hit a ground ball over to the first baseman, getting the run in for the RBI. His first at bat back in the 1st inning, he was a 2-out walk, but they ended up stranding 2 Wildcats in that 1st inning after plating just 1 run. Symmes Valley infield back in, down 4 already. Can't afford to give any more. Difficult situation here. Pitch just off the inner half. Brammer falls behind 3-1. Height looking for a good pitch to hit in an RBI spot here. He swings through that one. Runs the count full. Whiteoak will be back in action here on tomorrow night, I guess. Fairfield-Leesburg game. Is that tomorrow night or Friday night? I didn't write that down.
That is tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. So, again, that's going to have them right back in conference play tomorrow night. Strikeout there is a big one. Keeps the runner at third for now. First pitch hits the outside corner there. Carson Airy struck out in the first and struck out in the third, but he's obviously put his fingerprints all over this game with the job he's done on the other side of the ball in terms of the job the lefty has done on the mound. His 6 Ks currently as on the pitching side through his 5 innings of work to this point. And they walk out. I believe it's another situation where he's telling the pitcher he has to wait to make sure the hitter is engaged and looking. Pretty good pitch, but a pretty good job by Airy to fight it off. Live to see another pitch here. And again, with the guy at third, less than 2 outs, just trying to put something in play. Infield remains in, trying to cut down that run and keep it at a 4-point advantage. There's a ground ball through the drawn-in defense and goes on out into right field. That's going to be an RBI knock for Carson Airy. So all of a sudden he's putting together quite a night. First with the job he's done on the mound. Now he's into the offensive act with an RBI hit. Designated hitter Jacob Kiley, he's working on a solid night. Had a single in the second, walked in the fourth, so 1 for 1, been on base a couple times. Pitch on the outer half. 1 out. Carson Airy will take his lead from first base, so the Whiteoak lead is now stretched to 6-1. There's a swing and a foul back. Just over top of the overhang here at VA Memorial Stadium. Brammer going to check the runner, gets the sign, now set. Runner's going to go on the pitch. That ball's hammered in the left field. That ball's down. Left fielder Noah Hutchinson plays it on a hop. Airy moving on the pitch still, even as hard as it was hit, able to come all the way around the third. So Jacob Kiley with the second hit of the night, now been on base 3 different times. And Whiteoak threatening to really break this thing open at this point. Gabe Michael, 1 out batter. Hit into a fielder's choice back in the second inning, then would steal a base, and then he hit into another fielder's choice in the 4th inning, and again he would steal a base. So been on able to steal a couple bases tonight with his speed and impact. He scored a run back in that 3-run 4th.
What an impact they've had on the base pass so far tonight.
Yeah, no question, and it's really come, Kenneth, from up and down the lineup. Tries to bunt, but the hands went up and went after the higher one, and fortunate for him, he was able to bunt it far enough back to where the catcher couldn't find it. Stroud was looking for it right away, but it went too far back. So, see what Coach Veit has in mind here in the first and third situation. No hold at first. Let's see if they just go ahead and start the runner. Swing and a miss. So now Brammer ahead in the count 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Off speed. Kind of fooled Michael momentarily, but he was able to get enough of a swing to foul it off, and good two-strike hitting. Now Coach Vite will go through a series of signs. Let's see if he goes ahead and starts the runner. They have moved back. They were going to hold for a minute. Now steps off a little bit. Runner's going to go. There's a swing and a line drive into left field. That ball gets by the left fielder, and this is going to be trouble. One runs in. Here comes Kyla. He's going to score easy. Now Michael's going to come all the way around the third, and he's going to slide in safely as the throw gets away. And now the floodgates have started to open here a little bit. I assume we'll score that a single and a two-base error. So he'll get the original RBI, but will not get credit for that second RBI. Nonetheless, that's all just statistical whatever. But in terms of the stat that matters, it now makes it 8-1, and Whiteoak has that ninth run down there at third base as Caden Butler will step in.
With only one out, you'd think almost any ball in play could score the runner.
Certainly with the speed of Michael there. Caden Butler singled back in the second. He walked, stole a base, and scored a run back in the fourth. So he's had a nice night. Again, that's kind of what you were talking about, Kent. The speed up and down the lineup's been a big factor.
Yeah, I don't know if you have the total of stolen bases, but it's at least, I'd say, 6 on the night so far for Whiteoak.
Unofficially, I have 7. Yep. Unofficially. So to your point, the speed of Whiteoak has certainly impacted the game in a lot of different ways. 1-2 count. Pitch. Good piece of hitting just past the diving effort of Campbell and in the left field. Another RBI knock, and again from the bottom third of the order, it's Caden Butler this time, and Butler now putting together an outstanding evening. 2 for 2, on base 3 times. Give him an RBI there, now 9-1.
And now you're back up to the top of your lineup as Flater standing in the batter's box. Only one out still to work with if you're Whiteoak.
Yeah, Whiteoak threatening to maybe be able, especially if you get the speed of Flater on there, you score 2 more times in the inning, you end the game. So when you talk about going back to league play, Kenneth, here in the upcoming nights, it just, protects that pitching staff a little bit if you can go ahead and finish these games off sometimes. There's snap throw down from to first base. Diving back in there safely is Butler. Abraham Flater walked in the first, struck out in the second, RBI single in the fourth. Runner going. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Don't think he realized the runner was going on the pitch there, so when he looked a second, realized he didn't have a play, ends up throwing it over. So 1-3 on the put out for the second out of the inning. Move Butler up to second. Now Isaiah Cliff will be your 2-out batter. Cliff struck out in the first, fly ball to short in the second, struck out again in the third. Pitch misses just up. So again, Carson Brammer, relief effort, the starter Tanner Thomas. Tanner Thomas through the first 3 innings, did a solid job. That pitch catches the inside corner, evens count 1-1. The Symmes Valley team, they'll be back in action at South Gallia in league play tomorrow night. We mentioned both these teams a big factor in their league races. Whiteoak 7-1 in the Shack. Symmes Valley 5-1 in the SOC 2. 2-1 pitch, swinging, hits a high fly ball out to center field. Holland looks like he has a beat on it, and he'll haul it in to end the inning. Whiteoak plays a little add-on. They lead at 9-1 as we head off to the 6th inning. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
Look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
Welcome back. VA Memorial Stadium here in Chillicothe, Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay. Glad you're with us here on SOSA. Make sure you're checking out all that we have to offer on our SOSA YouTube page, all the outstanding interviews and coverage. Always enjoy listening to our athletes get interviewed and talk about that. You can also hear SOSA Overtime, a couple hours of spring coverage there. John, Bruce, and myself talking a lot of different spring sports. And then the Haynes Total Health Care Call-In Show. I know this past week they had about, I think it was about 7 or 8 different conferences in play. I talk a little Symmes Valley softball, so some of our Symmes Valley viewers will enjoy that a little bit with that outstanding program and the job they do on the softball side. As we head off into the 6th inning here, it's been all Whiteoak here in the middle innings as they've started to break this one open 9-1. Symmes Valley scored first, getting on the board to go up 1-0. Whiteoak answered in the bottom half to tie at 1-1. Big play in the game. It looked like Symmes Valley was going to go up 2-1 in the 3rd inning. Call was reversed and ended up taking the run off the board. And Whiteoak immediately took advantage. They got a leadoff triple from Lucas Pollard in the 3rd. He would score to go up 2-1. In the 4th innings where Whiteoak really started to break things open, they would plate 3 runs. They would plate 4 more in the 5th and now lead it 9-1. Symmes Valley did threaten there in the 5th inning, but a big-time 4-6-3 double play was able to get Carson Airy and his Wildcats out of that mess. Add it all up, 9-1 Whiteoak, and we'll head off to the 6th inning where it'll be 3-4-5 for Symmes Valley in the form of Tanner Korn, Carson Brammer, and Mason Campbell. It's been Carson Airy all the way, working on a 6-strikeout night. There's an off-speed for a swing and a miss. Tanner Korn had an RBI triple back in the 1st inning and then ended up hitting a fly ball to Clift out in right field back in the 3rd.
His off-speed pitches have been really impressive tonight.
There, the fastball got him on the foot. I couldn't tell if it was front foot or back foot, but certainly got him. And one way or the other, leadoff base runner, which Symmes Valley needs a bunch of, hit by pitch. It's the 2nd Viking that Airy has hit tonight. He's also walked a batter to go along with those 6 strikeouts. Symmes Valley with 5 hits. Cleanup hitter Carson Brammer will step in. There's a chopper to 3rd base. Goes and gets the lead run to 2nd, over to 1st, and that's a double play. Michael, the Flater to Michael. That's going to go 5-4-3, and for the 2nd inning in a row, the Whiteoak defense giving Carson Airy plenty of support in terms of turning ground balls into double plays. Looks like they're going to go to the bench here in the 5 hole. It's going to be number 2 Jackson Gates taking this at bat. Campbell was 0 for 2 in his 2 plate appearances, had a ground out to short in the 1st, struck out in the 4th. So now Jackson Gates will come on. We'll see what that does to the defensive alignment. Campbell was playing the 3rd base spot. Airy loses that one well off the outside part of the plate. 2-1. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. 9-1 Whiteoak, as they've been able to break it open here in their last 2 offensive frames. Yates chases the fastball up out of the zone, evens the count 2-2.
And Aries just had control all night.
And there's a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 7 will end the inning. We head to the home half of the 6th inning. Whiteoak leads Symmes Valley 9-1. You're watching high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
It's non-conference baseball here at VA Memorial Stadium. Shane Combs and Kenneth Hay with you on Southern Ohio Sports Authority. We always want to thank the fine people at Ohio Health for their entire support of all of our streaming throughout the year. If you're new to SOSA and you like high school sports, this is going to be a great home for you. You look back through the year, we've had all kinds of football. We've had volleyball. We've had boys basketball, girls basketball, now baseball. We're going to have a softball game coming up. And then you'll get unmatched postseason coverage here, right here from VA Memorial Stadium on SOSA as we get going. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. Also got all the player interviews throughout the channel. Got plenty of talk show stuff for you in terms of our SOSA Overtime podcast presented by Perfection One, and then the Haynes Total Health Care Coaches Call-In show every Sunday night. A lot of different coaches from throughout the area, baseball and softball, even been able to sprinkle in some track in some of our coverage as we get closer to the postseason. I know John Bruce and I try to add a little bit of that in there as well.
As I was saying before the break, just airy all night. His off-speed pitches just leading to weak contact, even though you said he only has 7 strikeouts, which good outing. But I think the most impressive is just leading that weak contact up the middle, turning these double plays, and that's been the story of the game so far.
It's been really complimentary between pitcher and defense, because the 2 or 3 times it looked like it might get away from him, defense has been able to make him a play. But, yeah, been real impressed with the rookie left-hander's composure and his ability just to, even when he gets in a pickle, to be able to still execute his pitches. So here we are in the home half of the 6th. 3, 4, and 5 for the Wildcats will be Pollard, Michael, and Height. Pollard, strikeout in the first. As we said many times tonight, his hustle out of the box ended up getting the first run home on the throw to first. Led off the third with a triple, later scored, and then ground ball back to the pitcher, and I think that pitch got him. He's going to go on down the first base, on base for the second time this evening. It's going to bring up Jonah Michael. He's working on a nice night, 2 for 3, single in the first, triple in the fifth, scored a run. He hit that ball in the 5th inning probably as well as anybody's hit a ball tonight in terms of his power to center field. Pollard leads from first base. Pitch is in there for a strike. If you're not familiar with the 10-run rule, once you get to the 5th inning and the team trailing has had that opportunity to hit in the 5th, the 10-run rule would be in effect from that point on. So in this case, Whiteoak being the home team, as the runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down not nearly in time. So if Whiteoak was able to score 2 here to the 11-1, that would end it. RBI opportunity here for Jonah Michael, Whiteoak third baseman. Remember, he started that double play in the last half of the inning from the defensive side. It's jammed there a little bit and fouls it back. Now trying to impact it once again from the offensive side. It's been a pretty good overall night for the Whiteoak cleanup hitter.
We've seen a few changes in the lineup for Symmes Valley. I don't know if you mentioned, I believe it's Mason Campbell on the mound now for the Vikings.
There's another backside shot. That ball is down. That's going to drive home another run here as Pollard comes around the score. RBI single. Jonah Michael. No, I didn't. We'll try to get some of those names in here. It's now Christian Height. Steps into the box. First pitch just misses there. Height walked back in the first. Had an RBI ground out in the third, struck out in the fifth. So 0 for 2 night, but still been on base once and then had key RBI. That pitch also misses up, 2-0.
Nate Wheeler coming in to play second for the Vikings as well.
Good opportunity just to get some different people in the game here at the VA, but also just throughout a busy week. We've had such a good weather stretch. Teams are playing a lot of games. You know, you're used to having a stretch somewhere during the season where the rain, but last year was one of the worst I can remember in the spring. Last year's schedule was a mess. I'll be honest, this year, it's ironic that we lost 3 games here at the VA on Saturday because this year we haven't had a whole lot of rain issues.
Yeah, before those 3 rainouts, I believe only 1 game has been canceled here at the VA so far this spring.
Count runs full here. Michael leads from first. Runner's going to go. And the pitch misses outside, and that's going to be ball 4. So 2 on, nobody out, as that becomes the winning run or the put-away run, the walk-off run, if you will, out there at second base in the form of Jonah Michael. Carson Airy, obviously one of the stars of the game. Now we're going to have the meeting with the pitcher as we've had all the other pitchers there. Umpire not liking the recognition of the hitter stepping in and making sure. My guess in on what happens with this, especially guys who don't throw as many innings, is, and this is just me guessing, is there's basically the umpire letting you know, and you're making sure the hitter's aware. It's become a safety thing, and it's just kind of the way the game management part of it, and it just takes a little bit of an experience here at the varsity level and gets everybody on the same page. That pitch is in there for a strike.
Campbell 1 inning pitch so far this season.
Yeah, so again, that's a little bit of an experience thing of just going. Here. Doesn't throw a bad ball. He's been around the plate for the most part. I know he hit a guy and he walked a guy, but I mean, the walk was on a 3-2 pitch, and I felt like there were some pitches that just missed a little bit at the top of the strike zone. So these are great opportunities. No one wants to lose 10-1, especially programs like Symmes Valley, but these are great opportunities to get some guys some experience that might come into play later in the year. It just misses on the inside. I mentioned Carson Airy on the pitching side. Also had the RBI single offensively back in the 5th inning. 1 for 3 on the night offensively. That was a ground ball hit to right field. Here's a fly ball out to center field. They're playing pretty deep, so center fielder Holland coming on strong. Makes a nice running catch, tries to double up the runner at second base, and Michael slides back in time. Nice range there for Holland off the bat. Kenneth, he was playing so deep, I wasn't sure, but his speed was able to close quickly.
See Jacob Kiley come back up to the plate. Had a pretty good night so far, had Kylie.
No question. 2 for 2 with a walk. Scored a run. Pitch just up out of the strike zone. 1 out in the inning. Runners at first and second. The guy out at second would be the 11th run, and it would walk us off here in the 6th inning if Kylie is able to get him home. Pitch on the outside corner in for a strike. That base runner out there is Jonah Michael. He's out there after he had an RBI single. He would later move up on the walk to Christian Height. Height's the runner, the trail runner at first base. Pitch up. 2-1's the count. Height doesn't really mean a lot from the scoring perspective unless, Jonah Michael would be forced out, but it does put some forces in play if Symmes Valley is able to get a ground ball and maybe turn a double play of their own. Whiteoak's turned 2 of them on their defensive side tonight, and those have been big plays in this game. Because even though we sit at 10-1, this game was 1-1 and then 2-1, 3-1. This was a pretty close game for almost 5 innings.
Yeah, really just over the course of the last 2 kind of got away from Symmes Valley. And I think the most impressive part tonight for Whiteoak has just been that it's been up and down the lineup. It's not just your top half score, and it's everyone both on offense and defense contributing to this win tonight if they would hold on to win.
Yeah, that's well said. I look back, even it was 2-1 going in the bottom of the 4th inning. They scored 3 times to go at 5-1, but even at 5-1, I don't know if you agree with me, even at 5-1, I thought there was a couple offensive opportunities where the game was far from over, and area and that Whiteoak defense really stepped up to the challenge. There's a shot out into the gap, and that's going to end this one here when this 11th run crosses the plate. Jonah Michael's going to come home easily, and Jacob Riley is going to walk us off with a shot out into the gap for the 11th run of the night. Whiteoak wins it 11-1. Shank Holmes and Kenneth A. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with some post-game thoughts, and we'll let you know what's coming up on SOSA later in the week. You're watching High School Baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie & Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Welcome back here to High School Baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health. Shane Combs and Kenneth Hay coming to you post-game as Whiteoak has defeated Symmes Valley 11-1. Now the final score, obviously with the 10-run rule in the 6th inning, would probably write a narrative of a blowout win, and I guess in the end that's the result that is the case, Kenneth. But if you look back through the game, that's probably not a fair way to describe the way a lot of this game was played throughout the first half of it. If you go back into the first inning, Symmes Valley got things started with a run in the top of the first inning. It was a 1-out walk to Tanner Thompson, and Tanner Korn with an RBI triple. Symmes Valley would lead at 1-0. Whiteoak would waste no time answering. Their speedy leadoff hitter, Abraham, later got on with a walk, and he would later come around after he's still second, still third. It was a heads-up play. Lucas Pollard getting out of the box on a strikeout. Throw went down to first base. Flater comes home to score. We're tied at 1. Later into the 3rd inning, Whiteoak would go back out in front when Lucas Pollard led off with a triple. 1 out later, Christian Height on a ground out would get Pollard home. That's when things got really interesting, because before that happened, it was still tied 1-1. In the top half of that third inning, Symmes Valley had taken a 2-1 lead, only for the umpires to come together, and they had a form of an interference call. It was a really bizarre call that really had not a whole lot to do with where the ball went or what was going to take place. And as a result, they take the run off the board. So that at the time kept it 1-1. And then when Whiteoak scored in the bottom half, they led it 2-1. Whiteoak would add 3 more in the fourth, 4 more in the fifth, and eventually walk it off with the 2 in the sixth. But meanwhile, the story was Carson Airy as he continued to fill up the strike zone, pitched around a little bit of trouble, large in part thanks to some of his strikeout totals where he would get some strikeouts when he needed it, 7 on the night total. But key double plays in the fifth inning, it was a 4-6-3 Flater-Pollard to Michael that got him out of a little bit of a jam. And then in the sixth inning, it goes Jonah Michael, Abraham Flater over to Jude Michael. In back-to-back innings, 4-6-3 and 5-4-3, the double play. So, yeah, you add it all up. Kenneth, great pitching, great defense, speed offensively, and execution on the offensive side. Coach Veit's got to be thrilled with his overall team effort tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if you could pull almost a single negative from this game. A lot of guys up and down the lineup that might not be the biggest contributors in every game have really just kind of picked it up recently, and especially in this game, you see it all come together, and I don't know if you could have a better game for Whiteoak.
On the Symmes Valley side, I wanted to throw this out to you because you and I in our preparation coming in, I mean, obviously it doesn't take a baseball genius to figure out that Andy Stroud, Tanner Thompson, Tanner Cohen had incredible seasons there, right? The stats kind of go, and they were fine tonight. They were involved in some of the scoring, and they're going to go on to have incredible years. I think a huge sign, if I'm Coach Holland, comes down here at the bottom in the 6th hole. Aiden Freeman with a double. Noah Hutchison was hit by pitch was on. Ben Hutchison singled once was on. Grady Holland singled once was on. If they start to get that type of production at the bottom of the order, I think that could be the thing that takes this team from good to great as they try to push in to the postseason and be a factor in the district tournament. What was your take of the Vikings this season?
Well, even on to that, you kind of saw a really good arm come out of Tanner Thompson tonight, a guy who's only pitched, I believe, 8.2 innings coming into this game. And though the result might not look at it, you'll see it in the box score later if it's posted that he really had a really good outing. I believe only 2 runs were let up under him, and I thought he had really good control, and I don't even know if both those runs were earned.
Yeah, he would have left the game after the third inning. So, yeah, he did. He ends up giving up the 2 earned runs because you had to walk the stolen bases, scored there on the strikeout, and then the leadoff triple would come home. But you're right. At that point in the game, he had his team right where they needed to be. And so a lot of positive. These were 2 programs that are no stranger to some postseason success when you get to the district level here at the VA. So my guess is this is not the last time we're going to see these 2 here as we sit and call baseball together. So let's shift gears here a little bit, Kenneth, as we look ahead this week. I've already mentioned about all the things that you can see on SOSA, some of the podcast shows, some of the interviews, some of the previous streams. We have some streams coming up this Friday night. So Friday night we have a doubleheader here on SOSA. The early game will be Memphis and Manchester, and you're telling me Carson will be in the booth with me here for that one, and then you and I will be back together in the nightcap. Peebles and Chillicothe should be 4 solid programs and a beautiful night for baseball here on the doubleheader. Looking forward to Friday.
Yeah, Chillicothe has been a really competitive team out here. We've seen them a lot, and not just for a team that had so much turnover over last season. I've been really impressed with what they've done so far this year.
Yeah, no question. So the win for Whiteoak pushes them to 9-7. They're still sitting on that 7-1 mark in the shack. Obviously, big sequence there on the SOSA overtime, highlighting Chris Veit and his 500-plus wins now, and what an incredible leader of young people, and we talked a lot about him. Make sure you go check that out. So, again, the win proves them to 9-7. The loss does drop Symmes Valley to 5-7, but the good news is still 5-1 in the SOC2. Certainly going to be a factor in terms of that league title race down the stretch. Well, on that note, we're going to say a thank you to John Bruce. Thank you, Kenneth. Really enjoyed it tonight for Shane Combs. Its final score for the final time, Whiteoak beats Symmes Valley 11-1. We'll see everybody Friday night. Thanks, everyone.